Happy Women's History Month, y'all. Mike Mincy, how you doing, brother? Carlos Lane, Renee Holman, good to see y'all. Brian Bimbry, Desiree Chisholm, we all have a good show for you this evening. Julia Barron, great discussion. Good evening to you. Mary Moses Hunter, how are you? Good to see you on. Willie Christmas Smith, my brother. I don't know if I saw you in the last couple of times. Karen Davis, Naja Riker, how are you? Brian Bimbry said, welcome to the guests. Brenda, Diane, April Anderson Brown, Brenda Torres, bless you, Tanya, I'm on my own. Peace. Elaine Hopkins. Thank you for that, Elaine. Tanya, Dennis Talaferro, how are you? Good to see you. Liana Drawn. Gwen Smith Stokes in the building. Deborah Patterson, how you doing? Virtuous Cornwall. How you say that? Naya Meeson? I hope I said that right. James William, how are you? Felicia Singleton, how are you? Gloria Anderson, Ida Williams, Priscilla Sproul. Bless you too. Bless you, thank you. Sylvia Sanders, I like this song, so I had to play this one for Women's History Month. Henrietta, how we got it? But we ought always to thank God for you, brothers and sisters, loved by the Lord. Thank you for that, because God chose you as first fruits to be saved through. I like that one too. Thank you for that, Henrietta. Very close, very close. Lala McClain, how you doing? Darren Green, peace, 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 peace. Haven't seen you on here in a long time, brother. Knowledge to you. I said, tell your kids to go home. Lord have mercy. Patricia Carzola saying, Cazorla, I think that's right. Hopefully I said that right. Please. She's saying hi to Noelle and Fayemi, Netta Fairley, Teresa Smith, Betty Jenkins, Rafiza, Wilhelmina Hinton. Let me get right to the thing here. We got a lot to talk about. I don't want to steal all their time. So we got a great Pat Green. Austin, how you doing? My sister, good to see you. Fatim, salam alaikum. So we have Fayemi Shakur with us, you know, our director here, art and culture here in the city of Newark, doing an awesome job. Is it Noelle or Noelle?
Noelle.
Noelle Lorraine Williams, that's what I thought. Can I say director, African-American history, or just African-American history program? She represents herself today, y'all, talking to us as a citizen today. But we thank her for being on our Facebook Live with our residents, you know, who get on faithfully. Some of them have been getting on this thing since 2020. So we appreciate their presence. I certainly appreciate it. That's for sure. So yesterday we broke ground, well, not broke ground, cut a ribbon for the African American leader, activist, woman, pioneer, all kinds of things, Harriet Tubman Monument that is downtown Newark. Somebody said, and I said it too, it looks like DC, like a DC monument. It's just all the way live and dope. You know, obviously there's some people who don't like it, but they probably don't like it because they don't like me. So if somebody else would have done it, they would have loved it. But because it's just beautiful. It's just awesome and beautiful. And Queen Latifah is involved. Can you tell us a little bit about it, Fayemi, please?
Yes. So
2 years ago, as folks know, we removed the Christopher Columbus statue and started to wonder what we should replace that with. And Mayor, I'm just so grateful for your leadership, and you were the one to say it should be Harriet Tubman. And the community agreed. So we did an open call RFP nationally, and we selected a Black woman architect from Montclair, New Jersey, Nina Cooke John, who had the winning design. And we shared all of the top proposals with the community for their feedback. And this is the design she presented. She wanted it to be a gathering place, a place of reflection and meditation. And it has an abstract figure of Harriet Tubman that's 25 feet tall, a circular monument that includes a learning wall with facts about Harriet Tubman's life, as well as Newark's historic role in the Black liberation and abolitionist movement as well. And Noelle is here because she is one of the historians that we commissioned to help us do the research to make sure we had our facts right about what exactly Newark's role was in the Underground Railroad.
Yes.
Yeah, please let us know, Noelle. I mean, I've been getting a lot of press calling me trying to find out. They think you just made it up.
Well, definitely the reason why the press will definitely wonder if we made it up is because a lot of people aren't really clear on the history of this country in the 1600s, the 1700s, the 1800s, even up to now, right? We see what has happened with the 1619 project. It's almost like opened up a whole new world. One of the things is because we really lose context of our international context. Slavery was an international act, right? It was between various nations and burgeoning nations, colonies. The state of New Jersey started as a settler colonial plantation, okay? And so when Newark is established by settler colonial folks who come here to establish it, this whole concept of it being a kind of spiritual or a religious project goes away pretty quickly, right? It becomes a space to make profit. And one of the ways they're generating profit is through connections with the South. Here in Newark, we're producing things for the South. We're producing clothing for the South. We're producing beer. We're producing whips that they're using on the plantations. These economies are helping to develop the Newark, the Manhattan, and the Brooklyn that we all know today. That's the foundation of it, is the slave economy. So if the reporters don't know that, they're going to be confused. This narrative is just so important here in Newark because then we have these powerful African Americans who are fighting for the liberation of enslaved people in the South, and also to enslaved people here in New Jersey. But what they're entrenched in, and this is what is so powerful about the Newark story, is that Newark has this deep connection to the South through the economy that we even find in 1835. They're so upset about Black and white abolitionists, you know, working against slavery and Black folks working for the civil rights. They actually have a meeting right over there, over PSE&G downtown. There was a park house where they basically said to the world, we align ourselves with the South's right to enslave people. You know, so this story has so many layers, and we're just beginning to share those layers so people can have a deeper understanding of what democracy is really about. What is community involvement about? What is activism about? And one of the things is that it started hundreds and hundreds of years ago, not just 60 years ago.
Right, that's great. So, I mean, what are some of the Underground Railroad, points or stops that we can look at here in Newark? Because I know a lot of Newarkers don't even know that Newark was a stop for the Underground Railroad.
Yeah, so Newark was a stop for the Underground Railroad. It was not a preferred stop for the Underground Railroad because we had people here who were very much tied to the colonization movement. For those folks at home who don't know much about the colonization movement, it was a movement where white anti-slavery people and white plantation owner men came together to come up with a solution of what to do with free Blacks. Their understanding from the 1700s was that once they freed the free Black population here in the South, here in the North, that Black folks would continue agitating. And one of the things that I can always say about that is that they were right. Y'all
they
were
were right.
right.
Absolutely right about that.
We did continue to agitate. So one of the places here in Newark that the federal government has recognized as an Underground Railroad site was Plain Street Colored Church. Some of your listeners may remember Plain Street Colored Church. It later morphed into 13th Avenue Church. And then later on, the congregation moved over to Clinton Avenue Church. And Plain Street Colored Church was located right over on the Rutgers campus. It was established because Blacks left one of Newark's oldest churches, which is actually still on Broad Street, because of the segregation in the church and the racism at First Presbyterian Church. They left that church and they created Plain Street Colored Church. And that became an Underground Railroad stop. But even more so than being an Underground Railroad stop, they also hosted meetings there. So activist meetings, that's why we're celebrating Frederick Douglass visiting there. But Frederick Douglass was not the only person to visit there. Henry Highland Garnett, who wrote the famous pamphlet that almost got him killed. Other people, lesser known people that they celebrate more in Brooklyn, like Junius Morrell. Actually, one of our archival sightings, one of our very few archival sightings, it's very hard to get these archival kind of markers in any state, was with Junius Morrell. The story tells how someone came to Newark and then he sent them to upstate New York to another Black abolitionist site in upstate New York. Nice. Besides Plain Street Colored Church over there on the Frederick Douglass Field, we also have the Jacob King House. Okay, so what you should kind of think of is a Black community over there near the Rutgers campus. You have the church, right? And I'll interrupt myself to say, we have to really rethink the Black church during this period. The Black church has to serve so many purposes. It's not just a spiritual site, right? It also, with the AME Zion Church, and now we see, even with the Black Presbyterian Church, these are sanctuaries for Black folks. So basically, if you are what we used to call a runaway, when you guys visit the monument, you'll see that we're now calling them freedom seekers. And they come to a city like Newark. They come to a city like Philadelphia, and they're walking around. One of the places they know they can go to and be safe is at a Black church. So it's important for everyone to know that these Black churches become monuments. So the first Black Underground Railroad site is Plain Street Colored Church. That was on the Rutgers campus. The second one is the Jacob and Mary King House, a 3-story house that they built themselves here in Newark. That was also near the Rutgers campus. And it is now actually, the church is now a nationally networked underground for freedom site, meaning the federal government has recognized that in an Underground Railroad site, and we're one of the first in Northern New Jersey.
That's excellent. Let me ask Fayemi, I know there's something happening Saturday, tomorrow. Tell the viewers what they can be involved in Saturday if they want to.
Yes, I would encourage everyone to go to the Newark Museum of Art beginning at 11:30 a.m. tomorrow for our Community Day event, celebrating not only the unveiling of the Tubman Monument, which is called Shadow of a Face. They are also opening their Seeing America galleries, which Noelle helped to curate some of that. And so I'm really excited about it because they're incorporating more narrative and artwork related to the time period of history and Indigenous people, and a more inclusive art collection. And that's something that all people can learn from and benefit from. So kudos to the Newark Museum of Art and Linda Harrison over there for the great work that they're doing. There's all kind of activities happening throughout the day until 5 p.m. Yendor was commissioned to create a new production. It's called, what's it called?
So they're gonna do a play.
Yes, they have a play that they wrote specifically for this occasion, Till We Get Free. That's what it's called. That's what's the play called. So shout out to Yendor, Andrew Binger, and Malcolm Rowling over there and the work that they're doing. There also will be poetry performances, drumming. It's gonna be an exciting day.
So they can bring their kids, right?
All ages, yes. Activities for the whole family.
And it's free.
Yeah,
and it's free.
That's the magic word.
It should be pinned in the chat to check it out. And also hopefully pinned in the chat is the website for the Tubman Monument. Visit harriettubmansquare.com, where you can hear the stories, the audio stories that are included in the monument. We did these kind of workshops for 1 year, and residents came out and responded to prompts. Some of the prompts we asked were, what does liberation mean to you? And we asked residents to share, their own personal stories of, moments in life when they needed to have courage. And so Harriet Tubman becomes like this figure that we have looked up to for so long in our moments when we've needed to have courage and to think about, what it means to be afraid of something, what it means to not know what's on the other side of something. And I think for myself and Nina, Harriet has been personally inspiring to help push us through to the finish line of this project.
That's outstanding. And so that's from 11 to 5. People could come on down there anytime during the day. Will they get to go on a tour of the monument itself?
Yes, tours throughout the day will be held throughout the day. So it might rain or snow a little bit in the morning, but it should clear up. So we hope people still come out.
Yeah, and it looks glorious at nighttime as well.
Yes, it lights up at night. There are benches out there where you can sit and listen to the stories curated by Audible. Queen Latifah is one of the voices that you can hear telling these stories. We also commissioned a local musician, Carter Magan, who did the score. So it includes beautiful music. And we want you to just sit out there and don't rush.
Right, it's a full experience.
Yes, it is.
So and stop calling the park Washington Park, y'all. It's called Harriet Tubman Square, and you can throw park in there if you want to. But at the end of the day, that's is not called that. I know a lot of people are upset about that. Noelle just got a lot of pushback around the fact that George Washington walked on Broad Street down Ferry, and he stayed at a tavern off Broad somewhere. And so that history is, they're trying to preserve that history over this history. And it's really not either or. Both of those things actually happen.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I think one of the interesting things in the park about having Harriet Tubman there is we have to remember George Washington signed the 1793 Fugitive Slave Act. So it was actually George Washington who made it a federal crime for a Black person to free themselves.
Well,
and
that was convenient because he had slaves.
Yeah, it was convenient. And it's also in a book I would love to encourage everyone to pick up by a New Jersey professor at Rutgers, Erica Armstrong Dunbar. It's a book that actually comes in a children's version, an adult version. It's called Ona Judge, George Washington's Runaway Slave. It tells you the story of Ona Judge, who actually was one of the Washington's most cherished enslaved person, who despite being the most cherished enslaved person of George Washington, escaped him. And he literally, for almost the rest of his life, despite having 120 other enslaved people tried to get her back, literally tried to get her back. The only
I was at a public forum. I'm sorry. I was at a public
it's fine.
forum at the museum, and the lady stood up and told me that I didn't know what I was talking about when I said George Washington had slaves. That he actually inherited them as a child.
Yeah, he started with about three human beings. 3 human beings. By the time he died, he had 123 human beings. But, you know, in his private life, if you want to call it that, you know, his beliefs about slavery affected 123 people. In his public life as president, by signing his name, he had the option not to sign the Fugitive Slave Act, and he signed it. He affected millions. He's the one that it goes effectively from a local kind of regional issue, African-American freedom seekers claiming their humanity, escaping what we call slavery, but what really was kidnapping, rape, murder, right? Slavery was built by legislating the wombs of Black women and taking over their descendants. It's one of the few, even though people will tell you all the time, oh, slavery existed around the world. There are only maybe 2 or 3 occurrences in the history of the world where you literally could pass on slavery through someone's descendants. Traditionally, in most cultures, if slavery existed, it ended with that person. Here in the United States, through the Black women's womb, they literally worked to make money off of the children of women, particularly Black women, you know? But one of the things I just wanted to say before we leave is that it's very important to understand, we've been taught of the Underground Railroad as kind of like this kind of interesting small thing that kind of happened. One of the most important things that the federal government did is that it stated that the Underground Railroad, or what we would like to call the Underground Railroad, is one of the actual most significant expressions of the civil rights movement. So we think of the civil rights movement starting maybe in the 1900s. No, it starts when African Americans, after the so-called Revolutionary War happens, decide that they have the right to be free, to own their bodies and their labor, and they run away. That's when the civil rights movement starts. So this monument is commemorating our country's longest lasting civil rights movement. And as we know, the women's rights movement took notes from the civil rights movement. Labor rights also later on took notes from the civil rights movement. And I just think it's so important that it's here in Newark, a city that really, really built its money and generated its wealth from profiting from slavery.
Wow. Any last things you want to say, Fayemi? We hung out pretty long today. Go ahead.
Not really. I just think yesterday was so moving. I'm really grateful for all of the community partners, Newark Arts, the Newark Museum, Newark Library, Audible, so many partners and institutions and residents who contributed to this. And just thank you, Mayor, for your leadership and allowing us to even do something like this in our city.
Well, I appreciate both of you ladies. Thank you for getting on tonight. I know our residents enjoyed the conversation. It was great. I enjoyed it. So
I'm sorry, Mayor, can I say one thing?
Sure, you can.
Okay, I just want to quickly remind everybody in Newark, you know, after I moved from Jersey City, I lived on 16th Avenue and 21st Street. What's going on downtown. I just want to remind everybody, the Newark Museum is free for all Newark residents. It's right next to the library, and the monument, Fayemi said it's almost 2 stories tall. It also has inscribed in its wall the histories that we've been talking about here. You can hear them, you can see them, you can see it on the web at home. Bring your friends, your dates, your kids. Go to the Newark Museum for free if you're a Newark resident, or if you're a veteran, or if you're a student, it's also free. Visit the Newark Public Library. Get the Una Judge book that's in the children's room and it's in the teen room. Come to the monument, make it a day, make lunch, do whatever you want to do, but these things are free and they're options for you. And we just really want this space to be a space for the community. And I have to say so many thanks to the mayor and to Fayemi Shakur for spearheading this. This will be a place for public education and just engagement. It's a touch point. These monuments are touch points for everyone. So thank you for giving this gift to the city. As a resident, a longtime resident of Newark, I deeply appreciate it. And just one more thing, and I also, as the director of the African American History Program for the Department of State, we look forward to bringing the Black Heritage Trail and having this be one of the sites here in Newark, hopefully. And we just look forward to you visiting the whole state and engaging Black history.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. God bless you. Have an incredible weekend.
Thank
Take care.
you, Mayor.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Bye, Noelle.